Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's explosive and unmissable breaking news broadcast. A story that has the potential to shake the very foundations of the legal system and the world of hip-hop as we know it. Tonight we bring you an exclusive in-depth report on a case that not only blurs the lines between celebrity and criminal justice, but also stokes the flames of controversy in the digital age. Our story revolves around none other than the enigmatic rapper, widely known as Young Thug, whose legal battles have been the subject of fervent debate and public scrutiny. In an unprecedented turn of events, prosecutors in Atlanta have moved decisively to revoke his probation, a move that comes in direct response to a recent social media post. This dramatic development has sent shockwaves throughout the music industry and beyond, raising serious questions about free speech, the responsibilities of public figures, and the intricate interplay between social media and the justice system. Tonight's report takes us deep into the heart of this high-stakes legal drama, a saga that began when Atlanta prosecutors, acting on behalf of the state, filed a motion in Fulton County Court on Wednesday to revoke the probation of the controversial rapper. The case pivots on a single incendiary social media post made by Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, that referred to a local gang investigator as the biggest liar in the DA office. This seemingly simple statement posted on what was once known as Twitter and now rebranded as X has ignited a firestorm of legal action and public debate. The district attorney, Fonnie T. Willis, has argued that this post, so casually crafted yet so potent in its implications, constitutes behavior that directly threatens the safety of witnesses and prosecutors. According to the prosecution, Mr. Williams' online expression not only jeopardizes the integrity of ongoing legal proceedings, but also poses a serious risk of inciting further intimidation and violence against those tasked with upholding that law. Let us take a closer look at the backdrop against which these events have unfolded. Young Thug, a figure whose career has been marked by both meteoric success and relentless legal challenges, pleaded guilty late last year to charges related to participation in criminal street gang activity. His admission was part of a larger sprawling racketeering trial that has gone down in history as one of the most extensive and complex criminal proceedings ever seen in Georgia. The trial itself saw 6 original defendants, including Mr. Williams, facing some of the most severe allegations imaginable, ranging from drug and weapons charges to conspiracy and even murder. While 2 of the defendants who refused plea deals were eventually found not guilty of murder and conspiracy to violate the RICO Act, Mr. Williams' own fate took a slightly less dire but no less consequential turn, facing the grim possibility of up to 120 years behind bars if convicted at trial. He instead opted for a plea deal that spared him immediate incarceration. The terms of his sentence, however, were as stringent as they were far-reaching. He was sentenced to time served, a staggering 15 years of probation, and the looming threat of an additional 20 years in prison should he violate any aspect of the agreement. The conditions imposed on Mr. Williams' probation were designed to keep him at a distance from the epicenter of the legal and criminal turmoil that had defined his recent past. Among these conditions was a strict ban from entering Metro Atlanta for a period of 10 years, a clear attempt to sever any ties he might have with the networks and influences that had drawn him into the world of gang activity. Additionally, his probation required him to submit to random searches and drug tests, and crucially, to refrain from any form of association with known gang members or from promoting any gang-related content. For a man whose public persona has been inextricably linked to the imagery and symbolism of street life, these conditions represent a significant curtailment of his personal and professional freedoms. It is within this context of legal strictures and public expectations that his recent social media activity takes on a heightened sense of gravity. On Tuesday, in what many are calling a reckless act of defiance, Mr. Williams took to the social media platform X to share a post that would soon set off a chain reaction of legal maneuvers and public outcry. In this post, he included a photo of Fulton County investigator Marissa Viverito, a key figure who had not only served as a witness during his high-profile trial, but had also recently been involved in a separate, equally significant case involving a preliminary hearing in a gang murder trial. The judge had specifically ordered that Ms. Viverito not be shown on video during her testimony, a clear measure intended to protect her identity and safety. Yet despite this order, Mr. Williams' post defied judicial directives by prominently featuring her image. Accompanying the photo was a caption that went even further. Not only did it label her as a liar, but it also fueled an already volatile situation by reposting content from a fan account. That account, in turn, displayed additional images of Ms. Viverito with a caption that boldly proclaimed, "All my homies hate Viverito." The immediate aftermath of these posts was nothing short of explosive, with thousands of comments and retweets flooding the digital space, many of which contained explicit and direct threats aimed not only at the investigator herself, but also at her family. The repercussions of his post were swift and severe, prompting prosecutors to take a decisive stand against what they described as a calculated campaign of intimidation, harassment, and misinformation. The district attorney's office has been unequivocal in its stance. This is not an isolated incident, but rather part of a broader, more sinister pattern of behavior intended to undermine the justice system. In a detailed filing with Fulton County Court, DA Willis argued that Mr. Williams' social media activity constituted conduct that endangered the lives of witnesses and prosecutors, compromised ongoing legal proceedings, and therefore warranted the immediate revocation of his probation. The legal reasoning is clear. When a person under strict probation terms engages in actions that threaten to disrupt the legal process, the state has every right, and indeed every duty, to act decisively to maintain order and protect the integrity of the system. In this case, the motion to revoke probation represents not only a legal maneuver, but also a powerful message to others who might be tempted to use social media as a platform for intimidation or defiance against lawful authority. Notably, Mr. Williams' legal team has not taken this development lightly. In a statement released shortly after the filing, his lawyer, Brian Steele, dismissed the prosecutor's motion as baseless. According to Steele, while the notion of intimidation and threats of violence is abhorrent and should never be condoned, his client, Jeffrey Williams, has done nothing wrong. The defense maintains that Mr. Williams' posts were misinterpreted and that there was no genuine intent to incite violence or threaten anyone. In a subsequent response on social media, Mr. Williams himself reiterated his stance, declaring, "I'm a good person. I would never condone anyone threatening anyone, or definitely participate in threatening anyone. I'm all about peace and love." This declaration, delivered on Wednesday night, underscores the deep-seated divisions in public opinion over the case. On one side, those who view his social media activity as a dangerous provocation, and on the other, supporters who see him as a misunderstood artist exercising his right to free expression. As this dramatic legal showdown continues to unfold, it is impossible to ignore the broader implications of the case. In today's digital age, where every tweet, post, and online comment can be scrutinized and amplified by millions, the boundaries between personal expression and legal accountability have become increasingly blurred. The case against Young Thug is emblematic of this new reality, a world where the power of social media can be harnessed to both build and destroy reputations, where a single post can have consequences that echo far beyond the digital realm. Legal experts have long debated the extent to which social media activity should be subject to judicial oversight, and this case is likely to become a landmark example that shapes future interpretations of free speech, public safety, and the rights of individuals under probation. Moreover, the controversy surrounding this case is amplified by the cultural and historical context of the rap industry, a world in which the line between art and reality is often intentionally blurred. For decades, rappers have used provocative language and controversial imagery as a means of artistic expression, challenging societal norms and pushing the boundaries of what is considered acceptable. Yet, when such expressions intersect with legal mandates, especially in cases where a defendant is already under strict probation, the consequences can be dire. Young Thug's situation, with its high stakes and polarizing rhetoric, forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the limits of artistic freedom. Should artists be held to the same standards as ordinary citizens when their expressions might be interpreted as inciting violence or threatening public officials? And to what extent can the state intervene in the realm of digital speech, particularly when the medium itself is as dynamic and unpredictable as social media? These questions are not merely academic. They have real-world implications for the future of our legal system and the rights of individuals in a hyper-connected world. As prosecutors continue to push for the revocation of Young Thug's probation, they are sending a clear message. The use of social media to undermine or intimidate the justice process will not be tolerated. At the same time, his supporters argue that such actions represent an overreach of governmental authority, an attempt to silence dissent and stifle free expression in an era where every opinion can be broadcast to millions with the click of a button. The tension between these two perspectives is palpable, and it is one that promises to fuel heated debates in courtrooms, boardrooms, and living rooms across the nation. It is also worth noting the broader cultural significance of this case. Young Thug has long been a polarizing figure, a trailblazer in a world of modern rap, whose innovative style and unapologetic persona have earned him both adoration and vilification in equal measure. His rise to prominence was marked by a series of groundbreaking releases that challenged conventional notions of what rap music could be, blending unconventional vocal styles with an eclectic array of musical influences. Yet his career has been marred by controversy and legal entanglements, with critics accusing him of glorifying a lifestyle that is as dangerous as it is glamorous. In this sense, the current legal proceedings are not just about the specific charges related to his social media activity. They represent a broader societal reckoning with the influence of celebrity culture and the responsibilities that come with fame. For many, the case is a litmus test for whether society is willing to hold public figures accountable for their actions in a digital age, or whether the allure of celebrity will continue to grant them a kind of untouchable status. The trial that has defined much of Young Thug's recent history is a case study in the complexities of modern criminal justice. The lengthy, sprawling racketeering trial that brought together a diverse cast of characters, from hardened criminals to controversial artists, was a spectacle that captivated the public imagination. It was a trial that showcased the power dynamics at play within the criminal underworld and highlighted the formidable challenges faced by prosecutors in building a case against a network of individuals involved in a wide range of illicit activities. In this context, the decision to revoke probation based on a social media post takes on additional significance. It is a reminder that in today's world, the virtual and the real are inextricably linked, and that actions taken in one sphere can have profound and far-reaching implications in the other. As we delve deeper into the implications of this case, it is important to consider the role of technology in modern legal proceedings. Social media platforms like X have become the battlegrounds on which cultural wars are waged, where information is disseminated at a speed and scale that would have been unimaginable just a few decades ago. In such an environment, every post, every comment, and every retweet has the potential to influence public opinion and alter the course of legal proceedings. The fact that Young Thug's posts have generated thousands of comments and more, worryingly, direct threats aimed at a public servant, underscores the inherent dangers of this new digital frontier. It is a stark illustration of how the tools of communication, which were originally designed to bring people together, can sometimes be harnessed to sow discord and fear. In response to these developments, legal experts have been quick to weigh in on the matter, offering a range of opinions on the appropriate balance between free expression and public safety. Some argue that the prosecutor's decision to move for revocation is a necessary step in safeguarding the integrity of the legal process, a process that must not be allowed to be undermined by reckless or incendiary statements made on social media. Others, however, caution that such measures could set a dangerous precedent, one that might lead to an erosion of civil liberties and the stifling of dissenting voices. This is a debate that is likely to continue long after the immediate legal proceedings have concluded, as courts, legislators, and the public grapple with the complex interplay between technology, free speech, and the law. Throughout all of this, the personal dimension of the story remains as compelling as ever. Young Thug, a man who has often found himself at the center of controversy, now faces the possibility of having his hard-won freedom stripped away over what some might consider a momentary lapse in judgment. A social media post that in the full heat of the moment may have been intended as a defiant expression of individuality rather than a calculated act of intimidation. His supporters maintain that he is being unfairly targeted by a system that is more interested in punishing dissent than in delivering justice. They argue that his words, while provocative, were never intended to incite violence, and that his overall track record, both as an artist and as a person, should be taken into account when evaluating his behavior. In their eyes, this case is not simply about legal technicalities or the enforcement of probation conditions. It is about the broader issue of whether society is willing to accept the inherent risks that come with giving public figures a platform to express themselves freely, even when those expressions are controversial or unorthodox. On the other hand, critics of this perspective warn that allowing such behavior to go unchecked could have dire consequences for public safety and the rule of law. They point out that the intimidation of witnesses and law enforcement officers is a serious matter, one that undermines the very foundations of a fair and just legal system. When a defendant uses social media as a tool for harassment or to incite threats against those who are involved in the legal process, it is not simply a matter of free speech. It is a deliberate attempt to subvert justice and destabilize the societal order. In light of these concerns, the prosecutor's motion to revoke Young Thug's probation is seen by many as an essential safeguard, a necessary measure to ensure that the legal process can proceed without the disruptive influence of unchecked online rhetoric. As the legal battle intensifies, we are left to wonder what the ultimate outcome will be. Will the courts uphold the prosecutor's motion, stripping Young Thug of the probation that has allowed him a measure of freedom despite his past transgressions? Or will his legal team succeed in convincing the court that his online statements were misinterpreted, that they did not amount to a genuine threat against law enforcement? The answer to these questions is far from clear, and the coming weeks and months promise to be a period of intense legal wrangling and public debate. What is certain, however, is that this case will have implications that extend far beyond the fate of one individual. It will serve as a powerful indicator of how our society navigates the turbulent waters of digital expression and criminal justice in the 21st century. In the midst of this legal storm, it is also worth considering the impact of these proceedings on the broader cultural landscape. The world of hip-hop has long been characterized by its ability to push boundaries and challenge conventional norms, and Young Thug's situation is emblematic of that spirit of rebellion. Yet, as the lines between art and criminality become increasingly blurred, we are forced to confront the uncomfortable reality that the very qualities that make hip-hop such a dynamic and influential force may also rendered vulnerable to exploitation by those who seek to use it as a shield against accountability. The intersection of celebrity culture, legal responsibility, and digital communication is a complex one, fraught with contradictions and moral dilemmas that defy easy resolution. And as this case unfolds, it serves as a potent reminder that the quest for artistic freedom must always be balanced against the imperatives of public safety and the rule of law. In closing, as we reflect on tonight's explosive developments, it is clear that the saga of Young Thug and his tumultuous relationship with the law is far from over. The motion to revoke his probation, spurred by a single and now deleted social media post, represents a critical juncture in a case that has captivated the nation's attention. It is a story of defiance and controversy, of a man who has walked a fine line between brilliance and recklessness, and of a legal system that is grappling with the challenges of an era defined by digital communication and rapid, unfettered expression. As we await the next chapter in this unfolding drama, one thing remains certain. The intersection of celebrity, law, and social media will continue to generate heated debate and dramatic headlines for the foreseeable future. We thank you for joining us on this comprehensive and candid exploration of one of the most sensational legal battles of our time. Stay tuned as we continue to bring you every twist and turn of this high-stakes drama, delving into every angle and every repercussion that this case may entail. Remember, in a world where every word can spark a firestorm, the truth is often hidden in plain sight, and it is our mission to uncover it no matter how incendiary or provocative it may be. Until next time, keep your eyes open, your minds inquisitive, and your spirits undaunted as we navigate the turbulent landscape of modern justice and celebrity culture. Thank you for watching, and good night.